Jack.
Let's see how it goes this time.
Oh, it just came up on my phone and said that there's a live stream.
Oh,
let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Come on. Please, please, please.
Do, 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 do.
Do, 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 do,
Do, do, do, do.
do, do, do.
You want a new car?
Oh, shoot. I need a transition.
they can hear us.
The price is wrong.
Yeah, they can hear us. I didn't transition my screen over. So they had a black screen, heard us.
We take what's behind curtain number 1 or curtain number 2.
I hope we're back. I hope.
Yeah,
Hey,
they heard us singing
Central
Jeopardy.
Blues.
They're laughing at us now.
Oh, yeah. Better laugh. Oh, they should be laughing with us.
We could bust some hee-haw songs out if you want. We know hee-haw songs too.
Hey, they already think we are hee-haw.
Dano knows.
We're dang close, by golly.
Yeah.
I even know Blues Clues songs.
Well, you know what? Speaking of hee-haw, Roy Clark died the other day.
Yeah.
I thought I seen that.
Yep, he died the other day.
No more popping up in the cornfield and giving smart comments.
Nope. All right, so are we back? Can you hear us? Is everything working? Are you still
I
buffering?
can hear us. How's the buffering? Is it a little better, folks?
I hope it is.
Treasure Swinging SWPA says seems better now.
I changed a YouTube server. I'm not on the normal server. I went on their backup server. But on my program, I have all green and dropping no packets or frames.
Okay, that's good.
What I see over on my YouTube dashboard don't look as good. So.
Coils to Soil says no buff. We're doing good so far.
Good. Thank you, Coils to the Soil, Jim.
No aspirin here, guys, Joseph says.
Coils, I'm seeing double vision. Coils to the Soil and Coils to the Soil, Jim. Are they related?
That is interesting.
Are they related, Charlie? Do you
know? That I don't know. No.
Huh.
Maybe it's his secret ego or something.
It's a mystery.
The alter ego from another dimension.
Oh, is that who 2 is? Is that Gina?
Oh, David Villa's got nothing here.
Come on, David. Everybody else has got it. You got to do something, man. It's on your end this time.
Refresh, refresh.
Yep. Coils to the. Yep. That's 2. That's his better.
Gina
his
here.
better half.
Okay. His and hers.
Yep. I see.
And Jim and Gina. Yes. Okay. Aha.
Coils to the Soil is Jim, and Coils to the Soil is Gina, unless Jim's on Gina's.
Discovery says, I see Flash and Reiser. That's because me and Jesse, I'm a pan of gold, and Jesse's a little gold miner.
Yeah, I'm a little gold miner.
Yeah, they're down below.
We're high. We're high.
You could see them right there. See them right there. They're
yes, K-Watt, we are back. And it looks like we're doing good. No.
Better. All right. Well, thank you all for being so patient. And now back to our guest, the man of the hour, the ones you all came to see. Well, some of you, most of you. I know a lot of you were at his show earlier. And, Charlie, do you ever have Murphy showing up like we do here at Flash in Your Pan?
Oh yeah. Except we call her Rosie over on our channel, and I can remember probably one of the first nights we tried to introduce the bot to the live stream. Oh, it was the show was all about the bot, because the bot was flagging people. It was kicking people out of the chat. It was, oh my goodness. If she had a shotgun, she would have shot everybody. But, oh my goodness, I tell you, the first show, the bot, it was horrendous. And I think we actually had a couple of shows where we had to actually shut all the way down, including the computer and everything, and then try to reboot.
Well, I'm glad I didn't have to go that far tonight. I just shut down my broadcasting software. Went from there, changed the servers. They only gave me 2 choices. But the headaches we could go through. Liz, do you have this problem? Mike, do you have this problem? How about you, J3B? It's not easy, and it can be nerve-wracking, huh, Charlie?
Oh, absolutely. And I have a little bit of OCD. I know the last time we tried to do a live on the scene live stream, we were down in Cape May, New Jersey, and I do test after test after test, because I really want to get out on the street, and that sounds odd. I want to get out on the street, but anyway, so I was doing tests and tests and tests, and the previous weekend, usually do the Tuesday show, of course. So the previous weekend, we were doing tests and everything, and it worked fine. It worked great. It was flawless. It just so happened that night, that Tuesday, YouTube decided to crash, and I thought it was me. I thought it was something I had done.
What did I do?
Yeah, right. And we kept shutting down, restarting, and of course it was like the first cold night too. So we're out there freezing our tushes off, trying to get this YouTube thing to work, right, and trying to keep a stream going. And I tell you what, I was never so hard on myself on that ride home, because I thought, oh my goodness, it was something I did or whatnot. And I was like, couldn't get it to work. I'll never do this again. Oh my goodness. And then when I got home and checked all my messages and everything, I saw YouTube had crashed. It was nothing that I had done,
Right.
And I was like, oh my goodness. But
yeah, it's kind of like it's like playing with your metal detector and the difference between checking it in the air, like a coin in the air, and then actually burying it. It's totally different. So when you're doing you're practicing that, because we've done the same thing, doing a test, everything's working great. Well, like when we do our pre-show, everything's working great, everything's fine. No sooner does we go live, boom, stuff starts happening. I mean, well, like yesterday. Yeah. Yeah. So, what fun.
No,
so all we can do is just laugh and carry on, right?
Oh, yeah. It's like my first big test. I actually, instead of doing a test, doing the smart thing and doing a test first, I tried doing a walking tour of Philadelphia. And basically it would comprise of like 5 different segments. And I'd never done it before. So I thought, well, we're just going to wing it. Right, I'll kind of do. We stopped at Independence Hall was the first stop. Then we stopped at Old Christ Church, and et cetera, and so forth. And it went well, right? Well, I mean, as far as connectivity, and the only thing I really didn't bank on was street noise. Okay, but it's always a learning process.
Street noise, wind, people walking up talking. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I mean, we learned a whole lot from trying to do that. A couple of things that we would probably never try to do again would be moving. We will stick to one historic locale and staying put. But I tell you, it was great fun after the fact. But again, hey, Rosie, Murphy, or whatever, when we tried to do the 4th segment, there was no connectivity whatsoever. And the 4th segment, basically what happened was, you got to think on your feet sometimes. So basically, I pre-recorded the 4th segment and then went and found Wi-Fi, connected Wi-Fi, and then broadcasted the live segment, 10 minutes later or something.
Well, that's what we do that too. We call it almost live. Yeah. Ed calls it almost live on the stream or something, Almost live. A few minutes old, but it's almost live.
But yeah, I tell you, you just sometimes you just have to think on your feet, and it's just and sometimes that's because you have content you're trying to shovel out, but then at the same time you're trying to engineer this stuff, you know. But that was great fun sometimes.
Your daughter didn't like it? She'll never do it again?
My daughter?
Sandy says daughter was with us, said she was not doing that again. You make her act or something?
No, she was with us that day when we were trying to do the whole broadcast thing from Philadelphia, and it was a bit, I don't know how to put it. We were trying to be tourists and do the show at the same time. So,
in that being out and about doing that, this is one of the questions that we like to ask YouTubers. Have you had someone come up to you and go, "Hey, I know who you are. I know that voice," or you know, while you're out in the street and say, "I know you. I watch your videos all the time." Have you had that happen to you yet?
A couple of times in weird places. This is the weird part. See, this is some other guy. When I go to work between 7 to 3, I'm some different guy.
Right.
So whenever somebody
You're the work guy.
Yeah, right. So when somebody comes up and starts talking to me, and they start telling me stuff like I said on one of the live streams, at first I'll look at them like a deer caught in the headlights, like, what's he talking about? Right. You know, here my mind's about work, you know, and then he's talking to me about, you know, something that happened. I saw your show, you talking about, you know, shipwrecks and stuff. And I have to admit, first, my brain's not clicking with it. And it's like, oh, you're talking about that other guy after 3 o'clock. Yeah, I know that guy, you know. As far as neighborhood people, I don't really think, except for the post office lady, I really don't think nobody in the neighborhood knows any of this. They know the old guy with the metal detector and shovel that walks up and down the street every now and again. But
hey, Eric. And I asked it because, well, a couple of reasons. One, I was at Crater Diamonds in Arkansas. Somebody come up and said, "I know who you are." I was doing a little thing on how to get diamonds, what the process was, shooting a little video, and next thing I know, I got this guy telling me, "I know who you are. You know, I heard you on YouTube." Yeah, okay. And the reason I think it's funny, because if you're doing YouTube like this, if you're doing stuff like this, you got to expect people to come up to you. And if you can't handle that, you shouldn't be doing it. It's just flat out, you shouldn't be doing it. You know, if you can't handle someone coming up and talking to you and acting like they know who you are, where you've been, and what you're all about, because they watched your videos, you know. So you have to be able to take that. You know.
Oh, not only that, but they're obviously going to talk to you about something that you're passionate about, because it's what you're doing. You know?
Right, exactly.
So it's going to be an easy conversation to get into. But I tell you, I think really in the street, as far as somebody actually saying something, I think it's been once or twice as far as locally here. But
it'll start happening. It's happened to Ed. Has it happened to you yet, Dano?
Dano?
Must be on mute.
Pardon me, I was talking and muted.
Oh.
It's happened to me like twice now. I'm not quite famous yet, but I've had it happen a couple times.
Yeah. It does happen. I'm sure it's happened to a lot of other YouTubers out here. So if you're going to be on YouTube, expect that to happen. If you can't handle it, if it's something you don't want to happen, don't do this. Eventually it's going to happen. Someone's going to walk up to you and act like they know everything about you.
Well, that's part of your viewers, too. I mean, that's your viewers. That's the people that...
Right. Well, sure. That's your viewers that are doing that.
I mean, you have to talk to them.
That's how I met Chris Dyer. Or not Chris Dyer, Chris Dye.
Right.
I was at the Swank West property, and I'm walking up the captain's ladder by the dredge ramp, and I hear, I know you. You're at Marvin. I've seen all your videos. I told him later on, I'm like, it's a good thing you didn't say, I'm your #1 fan, because I would have stopped it right there. Okay. Now this is getting awkward. But,
So
yeah.
how did you get started metal detecting?
Well, years and years ago, I used to spend a lot of time with my grandfather, and detecting was actually kind of a natural process, because what happened was my grandfather would before urban exploration, before that had a name, my grandfather was doing it. And of course, you know, being the kid, he dragged me along with him to like different abandoned factories and villages. Here in New Jersey, we had a wonderful writer from the 1930s called Henry Charlton Beck, who wrote Forgotten Towns of Southern New Jersey and countless other scores of books along the same lines. And basically, they were old towns scattered throughout the state that eventually became abandoned and whatnot. And he would hop in the old Oldsmobile and take little Charlie with him to go check out these towns that no longer existed. And, you know, go through the Pine Barrens and whatnot. And, well, from there, the passion for history, and as a young man, I can always young kid, I can always remember, show me, and he would point to this forest and say, a town here, a general store and a mill. And yet to a young guy, I don't see nothing here. Trees, pine trees, a swamp, and it's like, what's he talking about? You know, not. I didn't have that at that young age. I didn't have that visual capacity that he had to be able to put that back, use his imagination, and put those buildings in place from the story that he had read. You know. Well, as I got older, you know, beyond the teens and into the 20s, I began to have the capability of being able to read and imagine the stuff being placed back of, you know, from these same stories by Henry Charlton Beck. And I thought, what a brilliant way to go and try and touch and feel and you know, have the history, you know, metal detecting. It just kind of all synced together. And I didn't actually start out metal detecting, though. I did start out with Native American stuff, and here in the southern New Jersey, we have very sandy soil, sand soil, and basically, I had learned from an older guy of how to use a probe. Now, as ridiculous as this may seem to people who don't have this
stainless steel probe.
Yep.
Like you use for pipes and what?
Yeah, absolutely. And basically, you would jar that into the ground about 4 or 5 inches, and you would actually become sensitive to the feel and the sound of that probe when it strikes an object in the sand. And that was actually my first really using a tool to be able to pull history out of the ground by listening for stone or even pottery. Pottery will make us like a thud, a light thud noise when you hit it with the probe.
Well, just like glass makes its own special noise too.
Yeah, exactly. And or even shell. When you use the probe and hit shell, you'd hear the same thing. So
you got to learn. You got to learn your probe.
Yeah.
you got to learn the sounds that your probe will make when you hit certain objects. Like anything else, right? Well, you know, I always say, got to learn your tools. So learn your tools.
And then from there, we had the natural progression into metal detecting and everything. So I've probably been metal detecting now for probably the better part of 20 years. And my first machine was heavy, as they all were back then. My first machine was a Coinmaster 3000, I think. Big old blue box, Cadillac-looking, heavy box thing. Oh my goodness! You could swing it and kill a man.
I have one. It still works.
They were great machines for the time,
right?
And But yeah, you could swing that thing and kill a man with it. I mean, it was quite. I can't imagine swinging that now after getting used to the Garrett. But
yeah, the weight on it's so much different than even I mean, I got a Garrett 350, and the weight on those is just so different. I don't think for all day.
And guys with the, I don't know how they can do it. I mean, that's just adding weight again back to a. Oh my! It makes. But yeah, that's actually how I got into metal detecting. All thanks to my grandfather, who had this passion for history, and he just I don't know if he did it on purpose or just wanted a buddy to hang out with or what. But oh my goodness, I blame it all on him.
I'm sure he's proud of it too.
But you know what? Speaking of that, I know you can, in a sort of like a I don't know, a wishful thinking thing. If I could have my grandfather back for one day, and let's say I can zap him back